Let's study one more example to practice on the step of using the method of substitutions. For these questions, first, we label the two equations as equation 1 and equation 2. And we choose one of the equations. Say, for this case, we choose equation 1. And then we can choose one of the unknown to make it the subject of the equations. We can choose x. And then from this equation 1, we can get x is equal to 5 minus 2y. And we label this as equation 3. And then we substitute equation 3 into the remaining equations, equations 2. So for this case, we have x equal 5 minus 2y already. So for equation 2, we can replace x by 5 minus 2y, and we get this. So here, this is one equation in one unknown, and then we can solve for y in this case. And we will get y is equal to negative 4. After we obtain the values of y, we can substitute y equals negative 4 into equation 3. And then we have x is equal to 5 minus 2 times negative 4. And we will get x is equal to 13. And finally, we can write down the solutions. The solutions is x equals 13 and y equals negative 4. Actually, we can check if the solution we obtain is correct for both equations. The steps are as follows. For equation 1, we substitute the values we obtained already into the left-hand side. And we get 13 plus 2 times negative 4. It is equal to 5, which is equal to the right-hand side. So the solution satisfies equation 1. And then for equation 2, similarly, we substitute the values of x and y we obtain into the left-hand side. 2 times 13 plus 5 times negative 4. This is equal to 6. That means it is equal to right-hand side. So the solutions also satisfy equation 2. And for this case, we can conclude x equals 13 and y equals negative 4 satisfy both equations. So it is the correct. For the previous example, we make x the subject of the equations. Can we make y instead? Now, let's try another way to solve example 2, the same questions. Here, similarly, we label the two equations as equation 1 and equation 2. And then we choose one of the equations, say equation 1, and this time we choose y to be the subject of the equations. So, from equation 1, you have 2y equal 5 minus x. And so y equal 5 minus x over 2. And we label this as equation 3. Then we substitute equation 3 into the remaining equations, equations 2. And then we have for y, we can replace by 5 minus x over 2. So we get the following. 2x plus 5 bracket 5 minus x over 2 bracket equals 6. And for these questions, here we have one equation in one unknown. But the problem is that we have the denominator 2, so what we have to do is to multiply both sides by the denominator 2. And we get the following. So after expansions, we get this. And so we can solve for x. And finally, we have x is equal to 13. After we find the values of x, we can substitute into equation 3. And so we substitute x equals 13 into equation 3. And we can find the values of y is 5 minus 13 over 2. So we get the answer. Y is equal to -4, and the solution is still the same. X is equal to 13 and y is equal to -4. We can see that if we make y the subject of equations, we can still get the same correct solutions. But for this case, you have to deal with the denominator. And it is more difficult, and you will easily get mistake in the step. So for this one, it is better to make x the subject of the equations, because for this case, operations of fractions are not involved. And so it is better to choose equation 1 and make x the subject first. If you choose y, you have to deal with the fractions. If you choose equation 2, you also have to deal with the fractions. You can try yourself.